bring in now Meghann Cuniff, legal commentator and journalist, joining us from California. Meghann, good to see you. Thank you for joining us on the programme. So he could get 20 years, but his defence are arguing he's already done enough time behind bars. Where do you think the judge will land?
I definitely don't think we're going to see 20 because the defense or the prosecutors are recommending 11 years and 3 months. They say at least 135 months sentence, but U.S. probation, which is a neutral entity in these recommendations, is recommending between 70 and 87 months. And it all comes down to what is the judge going to do with enhancements, like such as fraud or coercion, vulnerable victims, a leadership role in the crime. Prosecutors are, of course, arguing that all of those enhancements should apply. The defense is arguing that none of them should apply. And a big thing the judge has to grapple with is a change in the U.S. Sentencing Commission guidelines that actually prohibits him from considering acquitted conduct. So the fact that Combs was acquitted of those two more serious charges is huge for him. And his defense is arguing that means none of these enhancements can apply. But my reading of the filings and the actual language of the change and what prosecutors are pointing out, I think the judge has more room than the defense is arguing, and we are going to see at least some of these enhancements.
These charges are all serious, but as we said, he was found not guilty of the more serious offences. How much did his role, who he is, his power, his business empire, how much did that come into this case?
I think it was a huge part of the case because it was so much of the racketeering conspiracy charge that jurors ultimately acquitted him of. But it was all about him using his employees and his power to facilitate these crimes. And prosecutors are still really focusing on that in their papers. I mean, you could read these papers and think that he was not acquitted of any of these charges the way they're arguing, but they're saying that the conduct in the acquitted charges overlaps enough with the conduct in the transportation for prostitution charges that all of it should be considered. So the judge has really kind of a fine line to walk here. The prosecutors even acknowledge that this is really uncharted territory. There's not a lot of case law about this new change.
Okay, we will have to leave it there for now. Meghann Cuniff joining us from California. Meghann, thank you very much. As we said, here in New York, the sentencing hearing has started. Stick with us here on BBC News for now, Matthew.